gum out my mouth. This is pitiful. Roll this.
Yeah, I am.
That hurts. She lick her hands and touch my hair?
Mm-hmm.
Did you want to look
Sure
at
did. Sure did.
Stand instigating. Leave my kitchen alone.
No, girl, you're not rolling them out.
No, she didn't.
Like one of us got to look right. So they have none of the equipment in the house?
Well, here we are although we're not at a beauty parlor, we're at the North Portland Branch Library in Portland, Oregon on July 28th, 1998. And my business manager of this video is doing my hair up. So she can hide my kitchen so we can have our first staff meeting for the video, Revolutionary Math. My name's Lanita Duke, and I'm the producer and the classroom instructor, and I tell you, I am over my head in this project. Joining me is Tanisha Shearer, one of our tutors, as well as a business manager who's already messing with my hair, Mrs. Johnson. Well, people, let's talk about what we do have going. We have a daily agenda where the kids sign in so we can sort of keep track of what they're doing day to day. We have a sign in, we turn in their homework, and what we decided to do on their homework is when they do not bring their homework back, too bad. Sit down and do your homework. Now that may mean that Tanisha will take them off to the side and have them do their homework. But every kid has to do their homework. And maybe Mrs. Johnson, who's created this incentive program, will either A, not give them an incentive, or B, begin to dock their pay. Already we have 2 students whose pay was docked because they showed up for class late. And I think we ought to give them an opportunity to make up that money because it's already budgeted, but they got to come to class on time. So that's the bottom line. We thought when we created Revolutionary Math that the math rap, which is in here, would be a more prominent feature. As it turns out, we haven't even gotten to the math rap because there are more prominent issues such as academic ability, and the math rap will come later. Fourthly, we review everything. So that means with every class we'll have to review place value, addition and subtraction. We're starting multiplication and division to try to lead into fraction on Friday or pizza fractions. We either have a guest speaker or classroom groups, which are broken down now into 3 or 4 groups based on ability. We get feedback from the kids, and then we issue homework. What we discovered was that I want to start this new thing called effort equals success. They put in more effort, they'll be more successful. And that means we have to create study groups. There's just no way around it. We have to do a year's worth of math, or at least 6 months worth of math, in 30 days. And we're going to do it. With that, I want to turn it over to Tanisha, one of our tutors who's been involved. She brings her baby Cheyenne to class, and that's fine. And we want to hear from her about her experience in math and some idea she has on what's going on. We appreciate her enthusiasm, and today she's being orientated as an employee, which makes her different. But she does have some good feedback, so let's hear what she has to say.
Rolling.
Hi, my name is Tanisha Shearer, and I'm
No.
No.
All right, rolling.
All right, my name is Tanisha Shearer, and I'm a new employee with Grassroot. I'm just going to talk about my experiences with math in school. I learned a lot when I was in elementary school from my teachers and aides and friends, but when I got out of elementary school, things started to fall off, and nobody wanted to take the time to teach me, and nobody wanted to spend individual time with me, and it didn't seem to be so important anymore. And so I thought school wasn't important, and so I dropped out. But I had to take it upon myself to learn things that I did not know, to do things that I did not get pressured to do, and to make a life for myself. I ended up getting my GED. Nobody helped me. Nobody pushed me. I I had to go and do it myself. And that's the only way to take care of things, is to do them yourself, know what you have to do, and do it. I went to the library every day, picked up books about GD mathematics, studied hard, and just did what I had to do. And if it wasn't for that, I'd probably be nowhere now. And I think that it's really important everybody push themselves within themselves to do something with their life, because your life is what you make of it. You know, and if you don't do anything with yourself, you don't want to be anybody, then that's on you. That's your choice, you know, but life is short. Life is real short. And I just see a lot of people in the class today that talk about other people or focus on other people more than they focus on themselves. And that's not the way to go, because you're not going to make anybody's life any better or any worse by talking about them. You got to do what you want to do for yourself. And that's about it. I don't know what else to say.
Any advice you can give us to help revolutionary math run smoother? And preface your statement by saying, my advice is blah, blah, blah.
Okay. My advice is that everybody work at their own individual levels, that everybody do the best that they can. You know, just don't push it off like, oh, this is, you know, just nothing, something that I'm just doing for now. Think about it forever. You're always going to have to use the skills that you have, the skills that you learn.
Any other?
Rolling.
I think some of the people in the class are trying really hard to understand and get things, but I think other people are just goofing off and are only in it, you know, for the incentive, or only in it for, you know, to just hang out with their friends or talk with their friends or whatever. And that's not cool. That's not cool at all.
That's it. Tanisha, will you take the mic off and give it to Sam?
I thought that was him. I just didn't
I
remember.
needed paper for him.
Testing, ready to go.
Ready, rolling, all that stuff.
Start with the dates and what we did on today.
I'm Sandra Johnson. I am Sandra Johnson, and I'm employed with Grassroot News.
Just do what you want to do.
Okay.
This camera ain't even here.
Okay. Hi, I'm Sandra Johnson, and I am an assistant producer with Grassroot News. And we're working on the project of Revolutionary Math. My role with Revolutionary Math is to oversee all of the functions of the talent, staff, and our guest speakers. We have designed a program that will run for 6 weeks, starting the second week of July, ending the third week of August. Our program consists of working with 10 youth that we have tested through the Sylvan Learning Center. I'm sure you're going to cut that. Get real. Okay. We have 10 youth that we're working with that we've tested and evaluated, previewed their scores with the Sylvan Learning Center. And our goals is to bring their level up, math level, I should say. Our learning skills. I don't like this at all. Oh man. Okay. No.
Some cue cards or something.
Okay. Okay. I don't know how detailed we need to get.
I'm rolling.
We're working. Revolutionary Math is designed to bring the skill level up. For what? That's too much work. I do so much. You're just underpaid. You're not acknowledged. You're never appreciated.
What day have you covered?
I haven't gotten anywhere. I'm still fumbling. How far do I need to go with this? You know, this is a large role.
It's a what?
A large role. I just realized how much
Well,
I'm getting
just
on your
look
page.
at what we've done each day. Well, we started July.
Well, first,
I mean, I turned it off
First-
here, please. Okay. All right, rolling.
some of the things that we're doing with revolutionary math. We started our first week out doing testing with our students with the Silver Learning Center. From that point, we were able to review and evaluate where our students should be placed, what level they're working on. We've hired a certified teacher to work with us. She's created curriculum that's designed for each individual and what they're able to work with. We've divided our staff of 6 into tutoring sessions where we're able to identify what each student needs, and if necessary, we will interchange, whereas maybe someone's teaching or explaining might get over a little bit more easier with the next staff member. But all in all, if we need more people, we'll go out and search it. Our first week was orientation, which was the rules, guidelines, expectations from the students. Our second week, we started our actual workshops, which is the math itself, where we're giving homework. And we're doing hands-on projects. We're moving into incentives. As Ms. Duke says, show you right incentives. So show you right, you get to pull something from the shopping cart, which is some really good stuff. We provide snacks, transportation. We do everything that needs to be done because our goal is to raise your level, the level of the students, our level for doing a great job. We have selected guest speakers that we feel will really be instrumental in explaining how math affects the workforce. So we really took a lot of time out to identify who we felt would come across and help to demonstrate that level of their expertise. We have some really nice workbooks that we work out of. And of course, our PTs where we're taking our homework home and bringing it back. We're also penalized for various things that you didn't do right. So we're also giving good job skills as we go along with this. We're running on a very tight ship, 2 hours, 3 days a week, and it's a 6 weeks project, and we aim to bring the level up. At the end of the workshops, we are going to round this off with a premiere party, and it's a focus group forum where we'll get your input or the students' input and also family and friends' input. But the best part is when we get the results back, when we do our last test for how well we done. And that's where all the gratitude comes.
What do you think is our biggest challenge? And say our biggest challenge is blah, blah, blah.
The biggest challenge is the attention. Getting the students' attention, getting that audience to realize what math means. That's the biggest challenge. The challenge is commitment. So once you understand why you need math, then the commitment rolls right along with it.
Now she did a good job.
Which is really amazing.
No.
Who's Bridget?
Patrice's mother.
Yeah.
That's
That
too
looks
different.
that doesn't look right.
What?
It's amazing everybody have the same black pen.
No, she has a pencil. They have a pencil.
Is that a pencil? This here is a pen.
Now that's a pen, but the
These
kids
are pens.
filled it out in pencil.
Oh well.
Here's Cherie.
That'd be hard to copy.
I don't know.
This with their shoe untied, I hope that you're going to turn and say, Mary, your shoe's untied. You're going to fall or trip or something, tie your shoe. Same kind of concept for learning in a group like this group that's learning, everybody's learning together, and we have different levels, but we can help one another. And we have to have that kind of feeling about a journey together in math, okay? Revolutionary math is going to be a revolutionary concept for all of you, meaning that it's different. Who knows what revolutionary means? Did you guys talk about this in the beginning? Okay. What does revolutionary mean? Anybody know? Somebody said war. Well, there have been revolts that ended up in war. That means someone revolted, and there was what? What happens from a war or someone revolts? What comes from that? Change, doesn't it? Things change.
Not all of them.
Well, not all the time. It could be changed. It's going to change one way or the other. It's going to be for better or for worse. So revolutionary means to change, a difference, something not the same. So you're having experiences now with revolutionary math, which is going to be a different way to look at math, a whole different way. And one of the things as your guide on this journey is to also help you have the tools that you're going to need to continue your journey without stumbling and falling all the time. So really quick, I'm going to pass this out because we had trouble with our copy machine today, but you can see pretty much what it says. Okay? So I'm going to give you 5 minutes to go ahead and do this particular assignment, and be sure to follow the directions carefully. Make sure you're careful. Read your directions and follow them carefully. We only have 3 minutes for this test, so it's like a test, but I'll call it a quiz. You won't be afraid of it. 3 minutes. Okay, guess what? Your time is up. Put your pencils down. And as your guide, I want you all to know that you have just failed my master test. The master test that I gave you said, following directions, can you do it? Okay, read everything carefully before doing anything. So you all began to write right away. Nobody stopped to read everything carefully. What happened if you read everything carefully? Number 22 says, now that you've finished reading everything carefully, do only sentence 1 and 2. Read everything carefully, put your name in the upper right-hand corner, give me the paper back. So we all would have been lost. Everybody that did the test would have got lost on the journey. You have to trust the person that's leading you. Okay, so I'm the guide. So whenever I give you something, if it says read it carefully, you don't want to get stuck like you did just now and find out that you didn't read it carefully. So this is just a little quiz to let you know how important it's going to be that you not only pay attention, but you follow instructions. Because that's how you're going to be better in your math, is that you pay attention and you follow instructions. Now, what does paying attention mean? What are we doing when we pay attention? What are we doing? You're listening, you're seeing, you're hearing, you're seeing, what else? Participating, you're talking, you're asking questions.
Getting all that you can out of the conversation.
Very good, Saria. Getting all that you can from the conversation or what's being offered to you. When you come to a class, it's like coming to eat, okay, or it's coming to dinner. Okay, you're coming to dinner. So you come to a class, you take certain parts of that class and you digest it, okay? And then there's other parts that maybe you don't like spinach, so you don't eat that part, okay, or you don't take in that part. So we're going to talk a little bit about this. We're going to talk about this, and then we're going to talk about memories, because this is a key point to how successful you're going to be in this math class, is about your memory. First of all, we need to talk about what have you learned that came easy for you to learn, and why was it easy? And we're going to, each one of you have to answer this question. Okay, remember I'm on this journey with you, and as your guide, I need to know something about you so that I don't travel with you and not know anything about you. So can we start here? And you tell me, what is it that you've learned in your lifetime? It could be learning to tie your shoe. What have you learned in your lifetime so far that came very easy, and why was it easy to you? Can you tell us something?
I learned not to trust people
And why did that become easy?
because
You learned not to trust people. It came easy for you to learn that. Okay. And why was it easy to learn that?
it was easy because I play like a trick on my friends and to to see that can I trust them.
Something
And
like
it
what I
didn't
just did,
It
right?
didn't work.
So you put
I
things
don't
out
trust
there.
nobody.
So you put things out there and
Yeah.
you see if you can trust them, and everyone's failed your test.
Yeah. So like when you say, do people trust you when they raise their hand? You guys cannot trust her. I can't trust you. I
You
don't even know
me.
nothing about you. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't raise my hand for that.
Okay. So the one thing that you learned in life is that you can't trust everybody. Okay, that's good. It was easy to learn because people must have not passed your test. Okay, what have you learned that was easy for you to learn and why? Well, you learned to talk, so how, somebody taught you how to speak the language, right? You don't have anything, ride a bike, anything that you know came easy. Okay, but we don't want to say what she said because she had her opinion and you have yours. So you want to say that you learned to trust people? You have the same one as she has? Really? You have nothing else that come easy to you? Okay, maybe we'll think about it and we'll come back to you. What have you learned in life since your lifetime that was easy for you to learn, and you're going to tell us why? Come on. Something that you learned in life that was easy, and you're going to tell us why it was easy for you.
Something that was easy
Uh-huh.
to sing.
You learned to sing. Okay, and then it was easy because
It came natural.
it came natural. So you already had talent for it, obviously. You had talent because I couldn't just say, I decided I wanted to learn how to sing and I just started singing. Because you have to have talent. Very good. Okay, what have you learned in your lifetime, even if it was tying your shoe or how to speak correctly in front of older people, whatever it might be that you've learned in life so far that came easy to you? Learn to eat. Okay, good. And that's easy enough. Whatever it needs to have in there. Okay, we're going to move on. What has come easy for you in life, and tell us why, to learn.
Maybe respecting others, because if I didn't respect somebody, then I get negative reactions.
Okay, very good. Another aspect of learning, to have respect for individuals who are trying to teach you. Very good point. Thank you. And how about you? What have you learned that came easy to you to learn it, and tell us why? You have nothing? Can't think of one thing? We'll come back to you.
Walk.
Walking?
Yeah.
Okay. Why do you think?
Multiplication.
So, multiplication division. And why was it easy, do you think?
Because I started at a young age.
Is everyone listening to our speaker here? Tina? Speak a little, I'm sorry. What's your name, honey?
Chloe.
Chloe, speak a little louder so we can hear.
I learned
This is very important.
because I had good teachers that taught me how to do it very well.
Very good, Chloe. She said she had good teachers that taught her how to do multiplication and division. And it came easy for you because the teachers were good. Excellent point. Okay, we're over on this side. And, Surya, you want to go first and then? Okay, you can do it first. What have you learned that came easy?
I learned math that came easy
And why do you think that was?
because I was always interested in it. And
Another key point. Do you see how these things are coming out? Interest. If you have no interest, are you going to be trying to learn it? No. Right. You got to have an interest. It has to be something that's going to draw your interest. Very good. Okay. Thank you. And your name again? Priscilla. It's going to take me a while to learn all the names, okay? So Priscilla, without disrespect, and that made her realize how it sounded and sound right or correct, and so you decided that, hey, you're going to do better at that. And that's also another aspect of learning, is that when you learn that something is not working, I hope you're not one of those people that continuously make the same mistakes over and over again and never try to do something differently. If you know you're doing a multiplication table or a multiplication problem, and you've been doing it a certain way, and every time you do it that way, it's wrong, then what should you do? You have to change a new pattern, find a new way to do it. If you can't find it for yourself, seek out someone who can show you, okay? All right, I think we did really well in this. How many people have taught someone something? We talked about learning something. How many of you have taught someone something? Raise your hand if you've taught someone something. Okay, what do you teach, Surya?
different things.
What have you taught? One person. Think of one person that you taught something you're really proud that you taught that person that. The ability to teach someone else. Isn't that wonderful? Each and every one of us been given the ability. The only difference in me is that I was certified to do it. Each of you can teach things that you know. That's all we're doing as teachers, is teaching what we know. Okay, and then probably we studied a lot in school and we learned a certain skill to a certain level, and then we teach it to you. But each of you are teachers. Everyone in the world can be a teacher. We all have the ability. Talent is different. You have to have a talent to do something and master it well, such as this young lady who said she can sing. Well, she said to come natural. So that's a talent. It's been given to her, and hopefully she'll develop it. You think you're going to go and develop your singing abilities and think about that as something you want to do? When you're given a gift or you're given a talent, it's important that you do try to exercise it to its highest level, because you probably will when you get older. You'll think about it. Good. Okay, so far we got all the way through this, and that's great. We know a few things. We have one other part that I want to share with you, because I want all of you to understand that there are many minds in this room, but they're all the same. Even though you're all different individuals, we have the same kinds of minds, okay? And I'd like you to think for a moment. Put everything else out of your mind. Don't think about home. Don't think about your homework. Don't think about what she's doing over here. Just take everything out of your mind and think about your brain as a computer. Can you do that? Think about your brain as a computer. How many of you know anything about a computer? Okay. They store information, right? They have a memory bank, right? What else about a computer? Are they visual? Can you see things? They're visual. You can see things on them. They control a lot of things in our society today. You're absolutely right. Our brains are just as masterful as that computer that has been created out there, but it's better. Okay? And one of the things that you have to know about the brain, in order to be able to be a person who learns well needs to know rap. And a multiplication rap gives you an opportunity to not only feel a rhythm or a beat, but also to learn your timetables, which I meet with students every week of my life that don't know their timetables. And today, there's no excuse for that. They need a calculator, they need a little chart, they need something to go with them in order for them to remember the timetables. Well, I designed this rap so that you can remember it based on the rhythm and the rhyme. Okay, so I'm going to read it through. I'm not a rapper, but I'm going to read it through for your benefit so you can see how it will help you. And then I also would like to demonstrate for you the nines real quick, how quickly you can learn your nines. Okay, so here we go. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times 6. Your time, my time, this is it. Add, subtract, multiply, divide, know the area, plus 4 sides. Learn to square, find angles too. Have no problem you can't do. It all begins with a simple task. Be willing to study and do your math. Lesson 1 begins this way. Listen carefully to what I say. Take a 2, multiply it twice, you get 4. Now, isn't that nice? 2 times 3 will equal 6. 4 times 2 and 8 you get. 2 times 5 will get you 10. 6 times 2 is 12 to spin. 2 times 7 is 14, and 2 times 8 is sweet 16, and 2 times 9 is legal 18. 2 times 10 and you'll get 20. Know your math and you know plenty. Lesson 2 is all about 3. Look how smart you will be. 3 times 2 you already learned, so 3 times 3 is 9 you earn. While 3 times 4 is twice times 6, while 3 times 5, 15 you get. 3 times 7 is 21, dream, and 3 times 8 is 24. 3 times 9, 27 more. 3 times 10 equals 30, my friend. Now the 3s are done, but we can't end. Lesson 3 will cover 4s. Pay attention, you'll learn more. 4 times 2, you know it's 8, and 4 times 3 equals 12, too late. 4 times 4 is sweet 16, while 4 times 5 is 20 you've seen. 6 times 4 is like 3 times 8, and 4 times 7 is 28. 4 times 8 gives us 32. 4 times 9, 36 you do. 4 times 10 is 40, you see. Now, to do 5s, just rap with me. 5s are so easy, we can be thrifty. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. Big 6 is where we'll go. 6 times 2 is 12, you know. 6 times 3 is legal 18. 6 times 4 is 24, sing. 6 times 5 is 30, be true, whereas 6 times 7 is 42. 6 times 8 is 48 for sure. 6 times 9 is 54. 6 times 10 is easy enough. It's 6 and 0 or 60 tough. Lucky 7s will now do. Hope you're lucky, and me too. 7 times 2 equals 4 pennies a dime. 7 times 3 is 21 on time. 7 times 4 equals 28. 7 times 5 is 35 we make. 7 times 6 equals 42, while 7 times 7, 49 you're due. 7 times 10 is 70 slow, might be the age of a granny you know. 8 crazy 8s are next to learn, but have no worry, watch us burn. 8 times 2 is sweet 16. 8 times 3 is 24, stay clean. 8 times 4 is 32, baby, while 8 times 5 equals plain 40. And 8 times 6 is 48, be kind. 8 times 7 is 56, too fine. 8 times 9 is 72, while 8 times 10 is 80, my boo. Learning the 9s will save you time, because every answer does equal 9. 9 times 2 is legal 18, and 9 times 3 is 27 king. 9 times 4 is 36 not old, while 9 times 5 is 45 too old. 9 times 6 gets us 54 cool, and 9 times 7 is a 63 fool. 9 times 8 equals 72, and 9 times 9, 81, so true. 9 times 10 is 90, you see. Add 10 more, you get a century. Now 10s are friends with the 0. Behind the number, they do flow. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, dear. With revolutionary math, there's nothing to fear. Okay, did you guys get that? Okay, I know, I had to do that. Okay, with the 9s, I wanted to show you guys something with the 9s. Okay, somebody said they already know this. When you do 9 timetables, if you just remember that every one of these are going to equal 9. Okay. So 9 times 1 is 9, right? 9 times 2 is 18. What is 1 and 8? 9 times 2 is 18. What's 1 plus 8? 9. Okay, so it equals 9. 9 times 3 is what? 27. 27. What's 2 and 7? 9. Okay, 9 times 4 is? 36. What's 6 and 3? 9. Okay, 9 times 5? What's 5 and 4? 9. Okay, 9 times 6? 54. And it equals 9. 9 times 7? 63. 6 and 3? 9. 9 times 8? 72. Okay, and then we have 9 again. And 9 times 9 is 81, which equals 9.
Can I show a different way?
Show us another way. You know another way? Yeah, show me. Show me. I can always learn something.
No, I'm doing it.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you're going to do it over there. Show me something? Yeah, show me. I like learning new stuff. Thank you for letting me use it.
It's imaginary 0 right there. You only put that there?
Say what? Let's see. What did you do now?
Yeah, you put imaginary 0 right there.
Imaginary 0. Okay.
And then you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
8. That's
yeah,
right.
I'm right.
8.
And then
Okay.
you
Go up the side. 1,
yeah,
2, 3.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Oh, I like that one better. That's good. Yeah, isn't that good? That's good. So you really don't have to memorize them if you know them. Right, that's very good. Excellent.
Okay,
The pre-show us again with 9s. 9s are fun.
9 times 1 is not, wait. Explain it, serious.
It's like, all you do is like count over how many
Yeah.
your times and times 9.
Okay, so give me your 9 times 7.
9 times 8.
9 times 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like 8. It's 72.
Okay, show us how you got 72 on your fingers.
You go like this, well, like, okay. You do a 9 times table.
Right, so 9 times 4, show us
9 times 4, you count to 4, you put
4.
10.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, and then put the 4th finger down. The 4th finger.
Oh, this one, okay. So you have 4 fingers. And then what is this? So how you get 36? I don't get your...
Wait, no, look. You put your 10
10?
10 hands, then what's your problem?
9 times 4.
9 times 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Put
Okay,
your fourth finger down.
put that one down.
Yep, and you get 36.
I don't get it.
You got, okay.
I don't get it. 36. How do I see 36 on here?
Because you got.
Okay, 9 times 4. Okay, so here's 10. 9 times 1, 2, 3.
You put whatever last number, whatever finger that you count on.
Okay, I'm trying to say.
Okay, you got the 3 and you
9
got the
times.
6.
Put that down.
Keep them ones up.
That's 4.
That's 3.
Oh.
That's 6.
Oh, I see. 36. 3 and 6. Okay, I got it now. I think I have it. That's good. I'm glad. Thank you. You taught me something today. Anybody else know any other math tricks with 9? Those kinds of things stay with us. You know why? Why do you think we can remember those kinds of things? They're visual, right? And the brain does what with things that are pictures?
Remember.
It remembers 99% more than something that's word. What order does memory go in? What's the order? Pictures, words, and numbers. Okay, good.
Shopping. Look what we're doing.
I want the little part.
Really? I need to tell you. You guys, look in here. Look. Oh, you just need the tape. You just need the tape. You see anything that looks good to you, Paul? Pencil sharpener. The card. Oh, you want the card. You want what? She wants the lock.
Where you get that at?
Hey, ways and means. We got ways and means. Things happen when you do it, when you have imagination. Yeah, but that's ways and means. All righty. It's to be given to you guys. Earned, I should say. This here's the scoop. I'm going to get some money, some coins and dollar bills, and we're going to be paid for knowing some answers. And then we shop on Fridays.
Wait,
I'm going to
Sam,
have some prize.
they should get paid for turning in their homework on time.
Well, yeah, we're going to come up with a full agenda. This is the cart before the goods, the cart before the horse. But I had to tell you this here so you start getting all revved up for it. But we're going to give you incentives. Turn in homework, coming in on 100% attendance. We got staplers. We got everything. Anyway, we're going to make sure that everything you do is rewarded. And we're going to give you money. And I'm going to put some tremendous prices on here, even using some decimals and possibly some fractions. And Sharia is going to be in charge of the bookkeeping. Because she just said, go right ahead. Doesn't that sound good? Yeah. She's going to be the baker. So we have some stuff for you. And there's more. So get ready for the excitement. What's this? This is for Tina.
That's all right, Tina.
And Tina was the first one to show up for her tutoring. So she's got a head start on you.
Go ahead, girl.
Thank you, Tina. All right, you guys. So you look busy. You know the whole purpose of all this excitement is because we have a test to come up, and we've told the state that we were going to improve and bring your math skills up, and we're going to do it by hook or crook. And that's to let you know how far we are with this. We recruited Diane Lewis Smith, this lady right here, and she's going to be a tutor. She's going to tutor somebody, and she's going to get with Miss Luke and talk about it, not you.
No, I was there today.
Oh, okay. Anyway, I don't even carry my checkbook register. So I don't think she wanted me. So if you can't do it, you have ways and means. You go out and get somebody. But in order for you to be able to do that, you have to know if they're doing it right. So you can go out and get somebody to cheat and do your homework, but it's not going to do any good when you get on the job and somebody asks you some questions and then you're looking stupid. So you can't skip some stuff. I didn't skip it, I just wasn't real smart. But I'm smart enough to ways and means. I got her. We went to school together and she did all my homework. And it didn't do any good for me.
Now these incentives are just classroom and homework incentives. For the study group, you're going to get even more stuff. Okay, so our certified teacher said give built-in incentives. So this is in addition to your homework. And we came up with the CD thing because I know you like CDs, so we'll just take like a field trip to a record store.
Hook or crook?
I need to see those of you who have not signed up for study group. So I got you, Latrice, Tina, Paul, and we're out of here for Revolutionary Math today. Wait. Only if you don't. They want to feel something. They hate themselves.
All right. Rolling.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Revolutionary Math is an experiment we're doing this summer through the GIFT program at the North Portland Youth and Family Center. We're working with young people who have low math skills, and the goal is to raise those skills. This includes some pre-post testing, study groups, and working with rhythm and math and helping kids to relate math to everyday life. This is a blend between social services, skill building, living skills, and academic endeavor.
Don't look at me though when you finish. So yeah, that's perfect.
Is that okay?
That's perfect. Let's just do it one more time, and at the end.
What did I say?
No, it's not what you said, it's what you did at the end. When you looked away, that's too hard to edit.
Okay. So
So
I have
just
to do the
when you
whole thing?
Do the whole thing over.
Okay.
And then when you finish, just keep looking at the camera. And action.
Revolutionary Math is an experiment we're doing this summer at the North Portland Youth and Family Center through the GIFT program. This is a combination of academic skills, working in classroom, tutoring groups, and social services, skill building, this type of thing. The idea is to improve the math skills of the kids we're working with, most of whom have low skills, and it's a blending of living skills, academics, study groups, and daily working on those math skills which kids need in order to go on and have a future. I didn't say the same thing.
Okay. Move over to your right just a little bit. Yeah. Okay.
Let's try it one more time. You got nervous there. Just be yourself, just like what we talked about in our meeting yesterday. You're doing a good job, though.
Okay.
But we open up with you, so just be
Okay.
cool.
I'll be cool.
All right, action.
Revolutionary
No
Start over.
problem. Say take two.
Revolutionary, are you ready?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Revolutionary Math is a new endeavor we're working on here at the North Portland Youth and Family Center through the GIFT program. We're working with young people who are middle school age kids who are coming to us with math skills that aren't up to the new standards. We're doing a series of study groups and working on academic schools using natural rhythms to assist in that process. The program is a blend of academics and social services, teaching the young people discipline, social skills, living skills, as well as the academics they need in order to move forward with their lives and move on to become productive parts of society.
What components exist between, what's the correlation between what we're doing? Be specific on what is the social service component we're adding to this academic enrichment program.
The academic enrichment piece of this and the way it blends with social services is, in the first place, the group is small, which allows the staff to really know these young people, to know the kinds of backgrounds they're coming from, the kinds of issues they have to overcome, where they're at developmentally, and they can blend what happens in the classroom, in the tutoring groups, with skills they need to address behavior problems, self-esteem issues, meshing all of these things together in order to come up with an outcome that is holistic in its approach, which I think in larger classrooms that's very difficult for teachers to do. Looking at some of the low scores in some of Portland's schools and knowing the kinds of issues that young people are coming to the classroom with these days, I think it's important for social services and the educational world to come together, to explore, to experiment, to find ways to work together to benefit the young people out there who are, after all, our future.
But if you're a teacher, you got 30 kids in a class, what tactic can they use to make this work?
They can,
okay, teachers can, even if you're a teacher with 30 kids in the class.
Well, even if you're a teacher with 30 kids in your class, you can begin to find out what are the kinds of connections those kids may have. and make partnerships with those providers to work on issues together rather than, you know, this group doing one thing over here, this group doing another thing over there. And sometimes these different efforts really leave the kid not knowing how to cope with any of it. Teachers need to reach out and social service providers need to reach out to work together. Many of the staff here at the Family Center do work with teachers, they work with school counselors, and the optimum goal is to work together to benefit kids, particularly those kids who are having problems because of the challenges life has presented them with.
Let's get a cutaway, Diane, so I might have to do a voiceover. Do some paperwork, Diane. Let me get the
Got
mic.
lots of paperwork.
Very good. If you're done, would you check your work, please? Beg pardon? Okay, engine trouble. Okay, well, he's, let me do this real quick. Buy me some time. Tell you real quick how to check division. It's real easy. You take this number, which is your answer, multiply it by this number. This is 6 times 5. Okay, that's 1 times 5. And how much was your remainder? Huh? This is your remainder? Fact, hold up a sec. Let's look at this. Remember she said, let's do the first two, okay? Okay, what number times 5 will go on 42? 8 times 5 is what? Very good. 8 times 5. Now to check it like we're doing that, you take this number times 5. 84 times 5. What's 4 times 5? Carry 2, 8 times 5. Plus 2 is what? 2. Now how many of these do we have as a remainder? So we add the remainder to this, right way over there. So man, I hate when So Latrice, why'd you tell me you couldn't do that work?
Because I don't like divisions and I just don't like doing them, so I can't do them.
Trey, can you speak up a little bit? Yeah, you gotta crank. Latrice has a little voice. Okay. At least with me she does. I know she done with with her little homegirls.
Yeah, all right.
Tina?
Right, Tina? She don't talk like this, does she? Does she
Yes,
talk
she
like,
does.
she talk, that's really her voice? Oh, it's
Unless
cute.
she get mad.
Oh, let's make her angry.
I can't.
So
It's
Latrice,
too funny.
angrily tell me, why'd you tell me you couldn't do this division?
Because I don't like doing divisions because they look difficult.
And you just did a couple equations with me, a couple problems with me.
That's because I had help and I can do it when I got help.
And if you didn't have help,
They'd probably all be wrong.
think you have a confidence problem?
Nope.
What do you think the problem is?
I don't know.
What happened to you last year in math class?
I got kicked out of math class last year, this year.
Why?
I don't know, I guess the teacher didn't really like me.
Was it your behavior he didn't like?
I don't know, he said it was my attitude, but I don't think I have an attitude really. Shut up, Tina.
What could we do to make that math come alive to you?
Nothing.
Okay. Would you walk through me this problem right here? Remember, do it for me.
I cannot do this.
Yes, you can.
No, I can't.
Okay, let me walk through. How many times is 7 going to 60?
8,
Okay, because 8 times 7 is what?
56.
Okay, put the 8 up there. Okay, do your subtraction. Tell me what you're doing.
I gotta borrow from the 6 because you can't take 0 from 6. So it's a 4, and this is a 0, then I bring down 9, so it's 49. So 7 goes into 49 7 times, and a 0. So 7 goes into 609 87 times.
Will you check your division? And tell me how you're checking it?
Okay, 87 times 7.
Is it right?
Yep.
You know you just did division.
Yep.
You just told me you couldn't do it. Look in the camera and say, I could do it.
I am not doing that. What?
What? Would you say you're not doing it? But you just did it, and you did it correctly. You still can't do it?
I can, but probably not all the time. Depends on how bigger the numbers are.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, now finish this one. Miss, I'm on a roll. How many times does 6 go into 6? One time, right? So put the 1 up there and do your, let me see this sum, excuse me. You want,
All right, the problem is 668 times 64. And 8 times 4 is 32. And carry 3. 6 times 4 is 24. Plus 3 is 27. And then 6 times 4, carry 2. And 6 times 4 is 24. Plus 2 is 26. And put a 0 under the 2. And 8 times 6 is 48. And then you carry the 4, then 6 times 6 is 36, plus 4 is 40. And then 6 times 6 is, oh, you carry the 4, then you get 6 times 6 is 36, plus 4 is another 40. Then you add, and it's 2, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 7, 2, 4. That's the answer.
do you check it?
Yeah,
Is it correct?
42, 75, too, yeah.
Did you do it wrong the first time?
Yep, I can put a 5. I don't know why, but fuck it. Come on, scratch paper.
Let's see your scratch paper. How would you do wrong before?
Oh, I just wrote it wrong. You know what? Oh, I got it mixed up with another number from this problem. See? See, look, it's 2 and 3. That's why I put 5. It should have been just 2.
Okay.
I always want them to realize where I came from and how I got to be. And the reality is that I came from the same place that you are now, and maybe a little bit worse off than you are. I grew up in Northeast Portland in the Albina neighborhood, which was the African American neighborhood, back in the early 1950s, and I still lived in that community by choice. Now, I went to Elliott. Sound familiar? I went, now Tubman. I went to Boise, which is now Boise Elliott. I went to Girls Poly, which is no longer in existence, and I went to Oregon State. So, you know, I still can remember my address. It was 127 Northeast Stanton, and the house is still there, and new people live in it. But I say that to say to you that you can be anything that you want to be. And no one and nothing can stop you from being who you want to be. Now, at 8 years old, I decided that I wanted to be a teacher. I grew up being raised by a mother. My parents were divorced, and my mother worked full-time every day while we went to school, and there were 4 of us. So, you know, no, don't look at me and think I came from the gravy train, because I came from the hard side of how life can be for young people. And, you know, I consider myself a living testament that if you work hard, apply yourself, then none of that matters. Because when I look back, none of that handicapped me, even though I had to work twice as hard. And as long as you look like the people in this room look, you will always have to work twice as hard. You need to understand that. And so, to get where I am now, with lots and lots of work, paying my dues, and making sure that when I went to school and they didn't want me to get it, that I got it regardless. So for the kid who says the teacher wouldn't teach me that, I was the person that would not allow the teacher not to teach me. And I remember a situation when I was in 8th grade, and I had a teacher, and the sad part about this is he was African American, and when we started to read, he assigned me to the same reading book that I had read in 5th grade, and I had read the book from cover to cover. And that really upset me, and I went to him and I said, look, I read this reading book, you know, and he said, like, so what? You can read it again. I said, I can't read it. I'm in 8th grade. This is a 5th grade book. So, you know, from that, what I learned was that you have to say what you want. You have to say what you won't tolerate without being disrespectful. And then when somebody tries to give you what you don't want anyway, you go and you find the book that's on your level, and you read that book and not the book that they wanted you to. So that's kind of the question, the answer to that math piece is that as kids, you can't expect adults to always want to do right by you. And what you have to learn is that you have a lot of inner power, and you need to take hold of that power and start to use it. So if you have that teacher and that teacher's not teaching you what you need to know, then you talk to your parents. Then you go, you know, you go down the line, and you may have to talk to 20 people before you get somebody to listen. But I don't know any school anywhere where there's not at least one person that will listen to what kids have to say and what their complaints and concerns are. That's real unfortunate. But part of the reason that there's misteaching is because many of the teachers, even though they've gone to college, are not adequately prepared to teach. They don't know what you need to learn. And in this state, until the last few years, there's been no standards. And so people could just kind of teach whatever they wanted to. And if they wanted to get you to the point where you could take trigonometry, they did. And if they had no interest in seeing you take trigonometry, or they happened to have a racist attitude and maybe think you didn't have the ability to take trigonometry, then they just kind of did what they wanted to. At this point, we have all these standards now that you have to meet. And I'm convinced, because I've seen it happen, that all of you have the ability inside you to do that. But what you don't have, and what I see missing from our kids that really disturbs me, is you don't have the perseverance. And you can't take a punch, fall down, and get back up, and then start punching again, you know? And I'm always trying to figure out, does that make any sense to you guys? You know, when you come to something hard, That's when you start to act out. That's when you start to, you know, it's too hard for you, rather than take the risk of having everybody know that you don't know it, then you go to Stupidville and start behaving in inappropriate ways. So, you know, what I say is you don't have to do that. And what I've done at Jefferson is we have put together a support system for kids. And anybody who comes to Jefferson will recognize immediately that it's a new day, and I call it the new Jefferson. That support program is so tight that it's going, I mean, for somebody to fail at this school, they're going to have to be dancing real fast, and they're going to have to be dancing some dance that nobody else has ever seen or heard of, because all the tutorial help that you need, all of the, we've put together some classes that only have 15 kids in them so that the teachers can interact better with you. We have, and I know that math department, I know what you're going to say, because you're at, everything you would say, tell me your name again? Latoya. Everything you would say, Latoya, is absolutely true and unexaggerated. But you will be happy to know that there is a full new staff of math teachers who do know how to teach math and who understand how they need to go about working with kids in order for kids to get it, so to speak. So, you know, what I really like to do is answer questions more than lecture. So, what's one thing I could do for you, Latoya, when you come back to Jeff in September? What's one thing that I could do that would get you started off on a good year? Oh, you don't know? Well, think about it, because, you know, the next time I see you, you need to be able to tell me that. Because how you get what you need is by knowing what it is that you want. If you don't know what you want, you'll never get anything. And, you know anything that you would want, if that's what you want. And for math is this, that number one, we're training teachers this summer, and we're sending teachers to a variety of sources to be trained. So one of the things we've done is we've sent teachers, math teachers, out into the world of work to find out from the workplace what kind of math kids need to have in order to be able to work and be successful on their jobs. The other piece is that we've sent teachers to this integrated math training out at Gresham High School, and it's like a 5-day, all-day kind of thing. And we've already brought the teachers together, and they've started meeting, and we've been working with the benchmarks so that they know where they need to take kids, which is something that most teachers don't know. And, you know, that really is the starting point. Where do you need to get? The benchmarks are the state standards, and the benchmarks are the points along the line where we're checking to see if you're on the track for meeting those standards. And those are red flags, because if, like the kids at Jeff in math, you're not on the track, then there's some intense intervention that needs to happen. Now, the intervention for math at Jefferson is a series of classes that are called math support classes, which are small group, a lot of hands-on approach to math, and instead of working 100 problem kind of thing. So it's using and manipulating items to, you know, and objects to be able to learn the concept. And then there's a next step up series of classes called Math Concepts. And then we've got a tutorial program that we're working on as a piece with SEI for kids that are having math trouble, and credit recovery courses all through the day. So say you're a sophomore, you know, you got those friends that didn't pass freshman math, and there's always been at Jefferson this rule that you can't, if you didn't pass a class, you couldn't repeat it. And of course, if you don't repeat it, how do you end up with the credit? You don't. You end up as a plus kid. And you know what a plus kid is?
What is a plus
A plus kid is a kid that starts in their freshman year, finishes without enough credits to become a sophomore. They put a little plus by their name, and they're not really a freshman, they're not a sophomore because they don't have enough credits. And they go into their sophomore year anywhere from 2 to 4 credits short. How can you graduate from high school? High school is a 4-year program, not possible. And then the underlying piece to that is that there was this rule that if a kid didn't pass a class, there was no provision for them to have an opportunity to repeat that class or to take another class in place of that one to get their math credit. And the only way that you could then get your credit was to go over to the Benson Night School and pay $40 for half a credit, and or go to summer school and pay $200. Now that was the playing field. And in math, 70% of the kids who went to Jefferson last year were not able to pass a math class.
Is that like that Mr. Clark's thing?
Across all the grades, 70% of the kids did not pass math. So 70% of our students who are coming back at this point are short a math credit, at least one. So we've built in what we call credit recovery. It's a new concept, not being used anywhere in this state, but it is being used in other parts of the country successfully. And the credit recovery classes are not scaled down versions of math, but they're classes that use different approaches and different materials and teaching strategies. And those are the classes that I've created that are hands-on, because our kids really do learn math better when it's hands-on, and it's, they can put their bodies into doing it as opposed to just trying to sit down and work problems. So it's a tight program. The goal for this year for plus kids is that there will not be one freshman who finishes the year at Jefferson who is not a full-fledged sophomore. That's our goal. 100% of those freshmen must leave 9th grade, go into 10th grade as full-fledged 10th graders. Because if they don't, then you never catch up.
You feel you're in a war?
Do I feel I'm in a war? Everything's a war. Excuse me, when you look like me. I mean, it is a war, but it's a war that I think we have the tools and, to win. And what really has not happened, and what doesn't happen typically in school, is that we don't ever create a real level of concern in the kids. And so, we had this SIM benchmark test at 10th grade. And prior to the test, nobody talked to the kids. Nobody said, hey, this is life and death, which it really is. Because if you don't meet those benchmarks and you're a 10th grader and you're going to be held accountable for them in order to graduate, you're in trouble. And if you don't get your education, then it is life and death, because no education equates going into a life of undesired and unchosen non-priority work, So your life work becomes something that puts you in an arena where you can be abused and misused. And if you think you're abused and misused when you have an education, think about working at McDonald's for 30 years and never becoming the manager. Think about being and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with these jobs, but what happens when people get into these jobs is that these jobs create bitterness. They create feelings of inadequacy in the folks, because when you work on those jobs, nobody ever pats you on the back and says you're a real smart guy and you did a good job. They call you at the last minute and say, you get yourself in here to work. And, and so it's a real negative work environment, and what that does to your soul is it destroys you as a person. So here's a real clear picture. You see the folks, and you know the folks, because we all know them, that are out there on drugs. Those people are not bad people. Those are people who had their souls destroyed somehow through the system, and probably through the educational system. Because when we destroy people's souls, we take away all their hope for being anything. We create in them the feeling that they're no good, and when you start to feel real bad about yourself, anything goes. You can be there. Listen to this, kids, because this is important. These new standards, you can go to school every day, you can make straight A's, but if you don't pass these tests, then you get a certificate of attendance, not a certificate of accomplishment, or you don't get your certificate of initial mastery and your certificate of the CAM, of advanced mastery. You get a certificate of attendance. And so then when you say, but I went to high school for 4 years, I was there every day, and look at my report card, I got A's, means nothing. Now, let me tell you about this test. I have never met a kid, except I worked with some severely disabled kids who were brain damage due to accidents or whatever, but I have never, in the schools I've been in, met kids that could not meet those standards. These standards are high, but you know what? Every person in this room can meet them. And what I'm doing at Jeff to help is we put in what's called a sim prep, and it's 40 minutes every morning at the beginning of school. And what that does is we're going to work on your self-concept. We're going to work on your study and organizational skills. We're going to help you learn how to resolve conflict in a positive way so that you're not so wrapped up in all this other stuff that your mind is not free to think the way that it's supposed to and the way that it can. And then we're going to do some real critical pieces. We're going to teach you how to take this test. And what I'm doing with the teachers is I have a lesson plan turn in, and I require teachers to show me evidence that they're teaching with activities that will get you to those standards. Because they can come in and teach every day and give you straight A's and look real good, but if they're not teaching what you need to know to be able to pass those tests. So see, it's not so much about you, it's about you in terms of being motivated and willing to work hard. And I'll tell you, when you come to my school, I don't play, because it's too serious. And you know, for kids get mad at me, sometimes their mamas and their daddies and their aunts and uncles get mad at me, and that's okay too. But if I could keep a list of the folks that come back 20 years later and thank me, I'm actually 29 years ago when I was their teacher, and now they're grown and they have kids, and some of them have kids your age, you know, and they say, you know, I really didn't like you. And I say, you know, this is not about liking me. If you never like me, you treat me with respect, I'm going to help you get what you need to get, because that's why I do this.
Any final words?
Hey, you know, the final words is that this is the opportunity of a lifetime. And the kids at this school that will be coming have no clue of the support system. Today I'm sitting working in my office and some man calls me. He says, oh, I'm a member of the business club. And I ain't never heard of the business club. And I said, well, tell me about yourself, honey. And he said, well, you know, we're a group of entrepreneurs. We all own our own business. We're all very successful. He said, we were talking the other day, and we kind of decided maybe we wanted to start giving scholarships. And somebody said, why don't you call those people over at Jeff? And so he called me, and they want to give, starting this year, a series of scholarships to kids that are in our Financial Services Academy. And he said, well, we haven't figured out the criteria. I said, you don't need criteria. Let me tell you about the course of study in this academy. Entrepreneurship 1 and 2. Software, integrated software 7 and 8. All the software that they use in industry, in the business world, we have a semester class where we teach this. Accounting, marketing. And he said, the kids at your school, he said, because you know, we call some other schools and the only thing they're teaching in their business class is keyboarding. And I said, well, we're teaching it, but we're getting ready to gear up not to teach it. And he said, can you send me some information? And I said, sure. So I sent him the information on the Financial Services Academy. And he said, well, he said, we can give you probably this year at least 5 scholarships between $500 and $1,000. And I said, and we'll have high caliber students that will be graduating that certainly will make good use of that money. So then, of course, I pulled out the letterhead and sent him a letter real quick with this information. But the people who are coming to the table, whether it's out of guilt or, I don't care, as long as they deliver and they bring something when they come.
So any questions, people?
You guys know I'm there every day. I've been working all summer. I'm going to New Orleans this Friday. And I'll be well, I had already planned this back.
Basically, I'm in boxing for the discipline and the structure it gives myself, and just to prove to myself that I can do this, that I can be an athlete, and hopefully excel at it. We'll see how that goes. I use math in a lot of ways when I work out. Everything that we do is in repetitions, which is counting. So you do a certain number of repetitions of every exercise, and you do, and you do those repetitions 2 or 3 more times. And in your running, you're always looking to improve your speed. So before you leave, you check the time at when you're leaving, and then you run, a certain, say I ran 3 miles, and I ran those 3 miles in 30 minutes. I would have to use division to figure out how fast I ran a mile. So 30 divided by 3 is 10. So that's how and I'd say, hey, my time has improved. So you're looking for improvements, and that's how we use counting. We also have the old 1-2, so my coaches are always saying 1-2 punches, you know what I mean? You're always counting. We do a lot of reps of push-ups and sit-ups. Everything has to do with numbers, etc. So.
Okay, can we get a shot of her running, pretend like she's running? We're doing an educational video, so one day in classroom you can watch it, okay? Yeah, that's all I want. You want to try it again?
And you're going to stop at the end of the
You're not going to hit the camera.
I'm going to talk to you all about something that you think is extremely boring, but hopefully when I get out of here, you're going to be fired up about learning mathematics. Okay? How many of you like Master P? Who is Master P? I don't know who Master P is, but you hear him do his lyrics? Huh? When they do those lyrics, they have to do them in rhyme and rhythm. Mathematics is a rhythm like that. You can rap in mathematics. Mathematics is, there's nothing that you do that doesn't require mathematics. Okay, when Master P sit down and construct his sonnets, his poetry, his lyrics, he have to know timing. Yeah, that's mathematics. Okay,
cut. Math. You jingle.
Master P in rhythm. Right, so everything we do is in rhythm, right? I mean, you be sliding down the street, Paul looking cool, you throwing down some serious mathematics, man. You are. You pacing yourself off, okay? Your heartbeat's telling you how many times it needs to beat in order to get you down the street looking real cool, in the right gear, right? Huh? That's mathematics. So let me tell you this. How many of you have heard of Albert Einstein? Raise your hand. Albert Einstein? Good. How many of you heard of, say, Imhotep? Raise your hand. Come on now, if you heard of Albert Einstein, you gotta heard of Imhotep. Get to know this man, get to know this African, get to know this black person, just like you. He's a part of your history, part of your legacy, okay? Imhotep is the world's first multi-genius, part of your genetic memory. He was an engineer, an architect, a scientist, a doctor, a priest, a philosopher. You might have heard it just saying, eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we die, from the mind of this great genius. Okay? He did a lot of design work in the very first civilization in recorded history. Where was that? What continent was that? Have gone into Africa. Where's Harvard University? Here in the United States, right? Where's Stanford? Here in the United States, right? Where's the University of Oregon? 100 miles or so down the road, etc., etc. Why can't we do that math now? Why do we say mathematics is hard now? There's folks that don't want you to learn mathematics. Seriously. Very simply. Why? Because mathematics give you the power to do the things that you need to be doing, to get the gear, etc., to improve your community, to essentially improve the quality of your life. If I can do it here real quickly. That's the ground here. What does that sort of look like? Can you? It's not a kite. It's a bad picture.
Two triangles stuck together?
So if you look at, say if you were standing on the ground here looking at that, sort of like a pyramid, right? That's where I'm going with this, since time is short. A pyramid has 4 triangles on each side, right? Okay? Now you've heard of this in mathematics? What's that called? Pi, yeah. What's pi? 3.14256, what else, Kumazi? Forgot. Yeah, it goes on and on, but you don't see any trends. Pi is a very important naturally occurring function. We wouldn't have flowers that makes the earth beautiful without pi. Okay, the food that you eat, it grows out of the ground in relationship to this function here. These early Africans knew about pi. They knew about this concept called pi. And it was in the Great Pyramid. I won't go into that now, but they used that to build this building that's still standing today after some 4,000 years. Very powerful and serious mathematics, folks. So we need to study our history. To get the inspiration to do the things that we've done before, we need to do it again today. Okay, Paul? Yeah, we need to do it again today. You cannot get through school without this knowledge. It's important that you have this knowledge. So as I said, Stanford University is here in the U.S., Harvard, University of Oregon, etc. And people from all over the world come to the United States to do what? They knew where the knowledge was. They knew where the power was in the minds of your ancestors. So they wanted to steal your mind. You're going to allow them to steal your mind? No. We have to reclaim our mind. So they went into Africa to study the geometry and the trigonometry and the math and so forth, and have built and told the world that they have done these things, and your ancestors have been forgotten. Now we're struggling to recover that, to tell you that you are of value, that you are important, that, Paul, you have to learn mathematics if you're going to succeed in this world. If you're going to be anybody, that you have to know mathematics. And it's not difficult. It's not a mystery. It's a very easy thing. You ever heard of one of those guys that went in there? It's called Pythagoras. Now, Serena, right? Syria, I'm sorry. You said, oh God, when I wrote geometry up there. You just set yourself up. That's all you did. Pythagoras. You heard this cat called Pythagoras? Well, in geometry, that's something called the Pythagorean theorem. And Pythagoras was a Greek that went into Africa to study mathematics. Not only he said, whoa, I came to study math, but I also can study religion, literature, governance, philosophy, writing, grammar. All this stuff was being taught in Africa. He said, I'm going to stay here for a while. You know how long he stayed and studied? For 22 long years. And he even wrote himself that if it wasn't for the African, he wouldn't be the genius that he was. Before the time of racism, before people didn't want Africans to achieve, black people, African Americans to achieve, because they know if you control the information, you control somebody's what? You control their thinking. You control what they do. You control their behavior. But if you know and know how to do the right thing, you can control your own destiny. Okay? So the name of the game is acquiring this information. So Pythagoras studied for how long?
22 long years.
Let's spell his name. Latoya, spell Pythagoras for me. Very good. Pythagoras. Okay, studied in Africa for 22 years. Okay? And there's a famous theorem in geometry. My point is, without mathematics, you've given up your power. Don't sacrifice your power. You have to study your history, know who your ancestors are. Strive someday to go back to your ancestral homeland. Because if you don't, you're giving up your power. So I'll just summarize in a little piece of poetry, okay? And real simple to understand, real simple word. And it goes something like this. Minute, you want to recite it for me? No. It goes something like this. Minute by minute, hour by hour, as you lose your history, you lose your power. So open your eyes and tune your ears so you know what you see and understand what you hear. Thanks very much. You're very attentive.
Is that a copyright thing?
Yes, it is. A good friend of mine wrote that. Named Roosevelt Milton. He passed away recently. But anyway, get some of that material that's on those lists. Start building your own little personal library. It's never too soon, Paul. Okay? Study hard and be students for life.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lanita. All right. Sure.
I wish you did.
Okay, are there any questions about simple multiplication? Guys, are you and Dupree? Yeah, okay, this is how you do it. No, you just bring it down here. Yeah, you got 0 right underneath the 0, and then start doing 3 times 2. You have 7 like that. Okay, you're doing multiplication on the long division. You want to do that, but I'm not letting you do that yet. Multiplication.
You want the stars of this video. We got to show some growth. So you can grin in the camera and
No, you're going to do multiplication also. Okay,
Right, you mentioned you realize these watermelons now, like
Oh yeah, don't take a shot of them eating watermelon still.
Oh, you're 24, all right.
don't tell me we can't have
The seeds out on the floor. So look at it.
What's there? Mine? I took you 25 cents.
Get out.
I'll bring it out. I'll bring it out.
You know him?
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that is.
12, right? And then
I'm done.
42 plus 1 is 43. And that's who's on 4 over here. You did that, okay? And then 6 times 6 is 36. Plus your 4 is 40. So that's your 40.
How they do that?
Okay, let's go and do that. Oh, it's here. Okay, got it. I went down to, this was what, 6?
Yeah, I don't even know what that is.
12, 6 times 40, 243. 6 times 6 is 36, and 4 is 40. 6 times 4 is 24, and 4 is 28. Okay, and then you got